So we are continuing to follow through this amazing book of visions with powerful pictures, but one message that's been consistently reinforced, and we'll see it again today in Revelation 18. After this I saw another angel coming down from heaven. He had great authority, and the earth was illuminated by his splendour. With a mighty voice he shouted, "Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a dwelling for demons and a haunt for every impure spirit, a haunt for every unclean bird, a haunt for every unclean and detestable animal. For all the nations have drunk the maddening wine of her adulteries. The kings of the earth committed adultery with her, and the merchants of the earth grew rich from her excessive luxuries." So here is this powerful woman, Babylon, nation, empire that everyone's been in cahoots with, that is filled with demonic spirits. It's set itself up against God. It's the history we read down through the pages of the Bible, whether it's Babel or whether it's Egypt or Babylon or Rome. It's the picture of all of those that would seek to set themselves up to do it, and here it is again. Then I heard another voice from heaven say, "Come out of her, my people, so that you will not share in her sins, so that you will not receive any of her plagues. For her sins are piled up to heaven, and God has remembered her crimes." So here's a call to God's people not to be part of this kingdom in rebellion. Now we need to be careful here, don't we? Paul and Peter both write to Christians under pagan governors to submit to the authorities because they are God-given in their authority. And yet in their anti-God spirit, the people of God are to be disassociated with that. So we play our part as citizens in the kingdoms in which we live, but we're not part of this movement against God that so much of the worldly government and power is indeed part of. Give back to her as she has given. Pay her back double for what she has done. Pour her a double portion from her own cup. Give her as much torment and grief as the glory and luxury she gave herself. In her heart she boasts, "I sit enthroned as queen. I am not a widow. I will never mourn." Therefore in one day her plagues will overtake her: death, mourning and famine. She will be consumed by fire, for mighty is the Lord God who judges her. When the kings of the earth who committed adultery with her and shared her luxury see the smoke of her burning, they will weep and mourn over her. Terrified at her torment, they will stand from far off and cry, "Woe, woe to you, great city, you mighty city of Babylon! In 1 hour your doom has come." The merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her, because no one buys their cargoes anymore. Cargoes of gold, silver, precious stones and pearls, fine linen, purple, silk and scarlet cloth, every sort of cotton, citron wood, and articles of every kind made of ivory, costly wood, bronze, iron and marble. Cargoes of cinnamon and spice, of incense, myrrh and frankincense, of wine and olive oil, of fine flour and wheat, cattle and sheep, horses and carriages, and human beings sold as slaves. They will say, "The fruit you longed for is gone from you. All your luxury and splendour have vanished, never to be recovered." The merchants who sold these things and gained their wealth from her will stand far off, terrified at her torment. They will weep and mourn and cry out, "Woe, woe to you, great city, dressed in fine linen, purple and scarlet, and glittering with gold, precious stones and pearls." In 1 hour such great wealth has been brought to ruin. Every sea captain and all who travel by ship, the sailors and all who earn their living from the sea will stand afar off. When they see the smoke of her burning, they will exclaim, "Was there ever a city like this great city?" They will throw dust on their heads and with weeping and mourning cry out, "Woe, woe to you, great city, where all who had ships on the sea became rich through her wealth. In 1 hour she's been brought to ruin." So here is this monstrous power and influence, this centre of commerce and wealth and riches, and trading in so much and so powerful. She herself said, "I will never be a widow. I will always be alive and well and rich and blessed." And in 1 hour God brings the whole thing crashing down. Again, we've seen it throughout history with the kingdoms that have set themselves up. We saw it in the story of Nebuchadnezzar when we were in Daniel. And we see it today. Things that seem so certain and so powerful and mighty, and they're overthrown. And sometimes very, very quickly they fall apart. And so the world that's invested in those things cries woe. Their hopes are gone. Their joys, their security all goes up in smoke. But the response of heaven and God's people is very different. "Rejoice over her, you heavens. Rejoice, you people of God, rejoice, apostles and prophets, for God has judged her with the judgment she imposed on you. So these anti-God authorities and powers and influences which have made the life of God's people so miserable in their opposition and the way they've oppressed them, now face their comeuppance for the way they've treated God's people. And as Babylon falls, all who are part of her and connected with her and put their hopes in her cry woe. There is rejoicing in heaven and amongst God's people as this wickedness comes to an end. Folks, as we go out today, this is just such an encouraging picture. We can feel overwhelmed by the spirit of the age, by the powers that are around us, by the oppressing spirits of materialism and all the things that come with our culture. And yet the Bible very clearly speaks that those things will come crashing down. They will come to an end. And the Lamb wins, as we keep seeing. God will judge. And there is rejoicing in heaven over this victory. This is what is to come. And so we might live in great difficulty and even a sense of fear and being overwhelmed at times today. And yet we have this great confidence for the future. So press on. Keep coming out of her. Keep away from the things of this world. Be in the world but not of it, is the cry of the New Testament. God's word, and let's therefore seek to do that, knowing that the world is coming crashing down, but all God's people will be kept safe.